Welcome to Inner Voice of Knowing podcast. I'm Kay Doran, a shamanic leadership coach and healer, guiding you through life with a foot in both worlds. When you understand the terrain of the inner landscapes, the mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic, you will become the leader within your physical life, both personally and professionally. After all, the power of change is in your hands. Let's get this journey started. Welcome back to Inner Voice of Knowing. I'm always constantly writing down topics of what I'd like to bring to this podcast. And then as I get ready to record, one of those topics absolutely stands out. And it's generally also related to what's going on around me, in my world, in others, in clients, in friends, in people in social media that are sharing about what's going on. So I feel like this one's incredibly timely and needed for right now. I'm also going to ask for those of you that know about chakras, because I'm going to talk about the chakra journey. And when I'm talking about the chakra journey, I'm talking about in terms of, I will explain about the chakras. I'm going to add information in terms of hertz and energy and different things, but there will be one key point there that we're able to tap into in terms of tracking the experience of growth from the base chakra to when something happens, and how we can tune in or check in via the chakra system to see how we can move through this via a clearer channel of understanding. So in a way, it's part of the inner voice of knowing. It's part of the cycle. And rather than it just randomly impacting us, the more we understand the language of what we're traveling through, the signs and the signals, the more we can harness that and empower ourselves through it. So for those of you that go, oh, I know about chakras, I ask you just to put your hand on your chest, do the 4-4-4 breathing, just tune in, because there's always something new, always, or something that strikes a chord of remembrance, even in an element of something you feel like you know, but you haven't been applying it, so you're still coming to know. It's still that integrative process, or it could be an answer from something. So let's put all egos aside of what we think we know and take this journey from my perspective, my experiences in over 34 years of working with others and even longer on myself. And I'm going to keep this really simple as I can, because I've seen other books and I've listened to other people, and it can become incredibly complex. I want this to be simple for the adept, for the informed, for the new. So let's start at that foundational level and be open-hearted and open-minded. Or as I like to say, let's think with the heart and feel with the mind. I want this to be a roadmap for you. And I use this myself. All my clients have been taught this. And it again is a simple yet profound way to go, how can I work with my energy to travel more of the journey of flow and ease and swiftness? So what are chakras? A chakra is a spinning wheel of energy. They serve to accumulate, assimilate, and transmit psychological, physical, and spiritual energies. Now, each chakra corresponds to a location in the physical body. They're connected and aligned with a central channel that allows the energy to journey upwards and then back down in a winding crisscross looking like a double helix, hence the symbol for medicine or healing, is represented as two snakes up a staff with wings at the top point. Each chakra vibrates at a different rate. Remember, everything is energy. Has a different color, because all energy is color, sound, and number. And the number of vortexes and sound. So let me repeat that. Energy in its purest form is color, sound, and number. So each chakra vibrates at a different rate, has a different color, number of vortexes, and a sound associated with it. Now, as the energy rises up through the chakras, the vibrational frequencies increase. So as you experience life, the aim is to learn the lesson associated with each center, consciously raise the energy through that central channel, and as it reaches the crown, this is when the integration takes place and the heightened spiritual energy, I am source, God, flows back down, and you're intrinsically changed. You feel at great peace, connection, and purpose. Now, the energy within each center has a charge to it. It will either feel vibrant and powerful or diminished and weak. So notice that I'm always saying in all my episodes at some point in time, to ask the question, is this expanding me or is this contracting me? This is about taking that journey up through that central channel and back again. When the life force or charge is diminished for too long, it creates dis-ease. When we work with the energy charge consciously, we become powerful. Another metaphor for putting ourselves in the driver's seat of our life, our businesses, and our experiences. So let's begin. So the base chakra, located at the base of the spine, the color red, the note C, has 4 vortexes within the one vortex, and the frequency is 396 hertz. Now, why do I tell you this? And I will be sharing this information with each chakra so that you can work with. You can go onto YouTube. You can get sound tools that have a resonance of those hertz and start working with these energy centers. The notes on the piano, everything is connected. It's the scale moving up from lower C. And understanding that it is a denser energy. This is the tribal center and the material world. So for understanding, the highest frequencies produce more oscillations. And hertz, for those that don't know, are a unit of frequency. So as that tribal center, it is our connection, that impact we feel of the experience. It is our connection to the tribe, to everything and everyone outside of ourselves. That's why it's the center of fright or flight, fear, physical energy, and drive. Okay, so every center is going to have, as it's depleted and blocked, the shadow element, if you like, and then the lighter element. So how you react to the experience as a whole is what this center is about. And here you don't have to understand it. So, for example, something happens and you see that bigger experience with you and someone else, or in the business, or in your work environment, in your family, whatever it might be, within the tribal, multifaceted experience. This is about how you react to the experience as a whole. To be able to move the energy up from the base chakra, and I'm not all for playing with all your energy centers and open the heart, and life is presenting you with the opportunities for this flow and empowerment and activation within each energy center. It has a key of unfolding. It has a particular journey to take. And you can't skip that. You can't go, let's open up the heart, but the lower centers are filled with heaviness, old experiences, old emotions, stored, stuck energy. So in this base chakra, when you have an experience, you're experiencing as that whole, whether it's within your job, whether it's within your family, you're experiencing the totality of it all. Here you don't have to understand. Here's the platform to propel you. You simply have to say to yourself, I do not know why this is happening to me. However, I choose not to be a victim. So I don't know what's happening, but this is what I choose. Now, an example of this for me was many years ago when I'd re-entered the workforce. I'd had 10 years of bullying. I'd progressed and progressed and progressed in terms of positions, earnings, situations, no longer working weekends, hours that I was working. But the bullying followed me, and it got to a point where someone was trying to get rid of me and I wasn't playing the game. They wanted me to quit. Wouldn't happen. They did me over. They betrayed me, all sorts of stuff. I don't need to go into the detail of that for you, but I was, I suppose, at that base chakra level, done over. So when there was this deliberate restructuring to try to force me out of a role that I was in, I experienced that with my manager, with upper management, with my team. It was the work environment, that tribal center, everyone, everything involved. But I had to go, I don't know why this is happening. I don't need to understand it right now. However, I choose not to be a victim, because all is one. We experience it as these fragments of separateness, but all is one. So the moment that choice is made to say, I don't know why this is happening, however, I choose not to be a victim, you start to consciously raise that energy. If you stay in that, you feel the victim. There's that, remember, the fright or the flight. You don't want to stay in the base chakra any longer than what is needed, or in any of the centers. We want to grow and over experience, over years. And I've said this before, that as we learn, gain understanding, and as we apply, we become more adept at moving through things. But that first one takes a choice. Feeling like it's beyond your control, but the control that you have is, I choose not to be a victim. Then we go up to, the energy rises up to the sacral chakra. This is the center of duality and relationship. It's located below the navel. The color orange is associated with it. The note D, see how we're going up the scale? C, D. There are 6 vortexes within this one vortex. Hence, flowers are associated with the images of chakras. And the frequency is 417 hertz. Remember, you can go onto YouTube and, put in 417 hertz and you'll listen to music that really resonates with this particular chakra. And that's why I share it. So this is your relationship to something or someone outside of yourself. It's partnership. It's the honor one another or the addiction. So in my circumstance, it's your connection to money. It can be connection to alcohol. It can be your connection to someone or something outside of yourself. It's the relationship. So you go from that tribal, the collective, to the dual. Okay, so for me, it then became about my experience with that one person that delivered the redundancy that had me targeted for months and months and months on end. So it's your experience with the situation and or the direct individual. So your relationship to it. So at this stage, it's asking you to ask the question, what is this experience asking me to learn about myself? So we're raising that energy up. I don't know why this experience is happening. I choose not to be a victim. Then what is this experience asking me to learn about myself? This is the journey of consciously turning your vision inwards to the inner world. It's in the inner world that we weave and create change that gets projected and reflected back out onto the external movie screen of our life. Okay, and we don't want all the old subconscious, unconscious false stories and beliefs to project. This is an empowering journey. And that energy, after asking, what is this experience asking me to learn about myself, invokes the insight and the response that lifts that energy up into the solar plexus. Now, the solar plexus is a really interesting center from my perspective. This is a powerful energy center. This is the center to honor oneself. It becomes that singular. It's located just below the rib cage arc. It's the color yellow, the note E, C, D, E, moving up the scale, has 10 vortexes within the one vortex, and the frequency here is 528 hertz, the singular. How you feel about yourself in this situation. This is about self-love, self-worth, and I'm going to say it. There are many, many healers out there that are feeling completely drained after doing energy sessions because they're coming from the solar plexus, not from the heart center. And I don't mean that as an insult. But the heart is activated as these centers rise up. This is an act of self-worth, of self-love, of self-value, of self-care, of self-empowerment. Not over others, but deeply embedded within yourself. So how you feel about yourself in this situation. Here, the negative emotions are absorbed, breathed in. Self-respect resides here, as does your wisdom. You are plugging the cord back into your deep inner wisdom. So you've gone from the tribal to the dual to the singular. And here's your power question. Ask yourself, how do I feel about myself in this experience? And what do I need to do? And then you act on your guidance. So this is really starting to charge up and activate and amplify, attune to your inner voice of knowing. So we're not, see how we're even raising the energy of not being a victim. This is an amazing place of, you know, in the spiritual community, everyone is so saying, you know, everything is a reflection. Well, there is great truth in that, but there are also times when others that are wearing lenses and not knowing the truth of who they are or looked into themselves, overlaid by the shadow of darkness, no judgments here, but not yet been able to pierce that sticky spider's web of illusion and pierce that veil to see the light. They're not as far along on the journey perhaps as you. But sometimes the lenses they're looking through are distorted and it's actually not your reflection. And we need to learn the difference. And it's in here as we strengthen and empower this that we develop that ability to know what is mine, what is being reflected back to me that I must look at. And sometimes the reflection is, you know what? No, that's not me. I've been there. I've been that person. I've empowered that situation. I've released myself. So how do I feel about myself, the singular in this experience, and what do I need to do? And then act on your guidance as you are amplifying that inner voice of knowing. So it's not simply about ask the question and move on. It's the asking of the question. It's that going in deeper, putting that fishing line in, if you like, and continuing to move through your experiences with that intent, invoking those questions that, remember, an invocation is an invitation for that truth to be revealed. That moves us into the heart chakra. Now, this is the bridge between the inner and the outer world, which is why I'm always getting you to do heart-connected breathing. This is the inner and the outer, that bridge where I live my life, where I feel like I am the connector as a shaman to the inner and outer, the seen, the unseen, the felt and the lived. This is located in the center of your chest. It's the color green, or sometimes associated with pink. It's the note F, C, D, E, F. See, we're moving up through the scale. Now, this has 12 vortexes within the one vortex, and the frequency is increased to 639 hertz. Can you see how the journey that we're taking through the experience, that if you look at it from this perspective and you ask or state these things, you can move through and activate your insight and your answers and move through this feeling a little bit more empowered as to the process. This is putting yourself back in the driver's seat. This is saying, I will direct this energy. Even when I start at the base experience where I don't necessarily understand why. It mediates between the body and the spirit, the heart center, the heart chakra, the inner and the outer worlds. As I said, experience has been your teacher. And this is the place of healing, a sense of purpose that comes from the challenge, an up-leveling of your life, as I said, being in the driver's seat of it. This is the space of the teacher and the healer. This is the space of, you've heard me say this many, many episodes, love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness. This is where we go, love is divine power. Love is born from the fact that everyone has played their part in your growth. Compassion comes from understanding that everyone is human and on their personal human journey. Understanding is born from the purpose of the experiences and the stages you have risen through and are rising through. Forgiveness Forgiveness is what sets you free from being under anyone else's control. See how it's still all connected, all those threads all the way back down to the base. I choose not to be the victim. Forgiveness sets you free. It is the greatest gift of freedom that you can give to yourself by going through this process. Here you own your own power and potential by journeying through those lower centers. Here it is simply an intention to align with love, the place of authentic power, the divine marriage of physical and the spiritual. Love, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness, which is setting you free from the power that you started off believing that another or the experience held over you. And it's a choice. Starting from that base chakra, it's a choice to consciously, intentionally, deliberately take this journey inwards. Remember, authentic power, the divine marriage of the physical and the spiritual. Moving us into the throat. I've heard a lot of people talk about the throat chakra, and I have a few different concepts of understanding and knowing about this, and it really is about surrendering your will. Located at the throat, the color blue, the note G, 16 vortexes within the one vortex, and the frequency is 672 hertz. Here's choice. You release by speaking your fears and shadows so that you can then speak from power and your truth. Again, if you want to learn how to be able to speak your fears and diffuse them, go to my website, kdoran.com. On the homepage, you can scroll down and you can download the free PDF process. Simple, powerful, profound. I still use it, and so do my clients that I've had even after 20 years. Here you can change direction in life by aligning your will with that of the divine will. So choosing, I align my will with that of the divine will. There is a powerful place of surrender here. This is where I remember myself, and I've witnessed, oh my God, so many of my clients that reach that point where it's like, I can't return. This is just how I am, who I am, and how I live now. Going through this process, there is that surrendering and that alignment. And it's really also an alignment of the soul divine journey and the human condition that accompanies that. It is a place of surrender and faith and knowing. You align your inner power and potential. You really are orchestrating your life via your choices and intentions and energy activations. So to speak powerfully is to speak from the heart with honesty and integrity. This is where we can deliver the arrows of truth with no defense, with no need to be validated or understood, but deliver from love. This is the responsibility of one's personal needs and really, and what you really want to do in life. Speaking that into being with great clarity and force of the energy of heart and intention. Speaking about your needs from a loving, not a demanding space. Remember, aligning your will with that of the divine will. What you really want to do in life. How you choose to then speak about experiences. Now, I know when that experience happened to me, I also spoke from shadow and judgment, but as I did this personal journey myself, I moved through it very, very swiftly and came to an understanding of what a gift this experience, this person, the opportunity had given to me. So base, sacral chakra, into the heart. And I can speak about that experience now with no animosity, with a smile on my face, and the deepening of the understanding of how it has truly served me. So this is willpower and self-honesty in the throat. You have responsibility and authority over yourself, and true authority comes from aligning with God's will, the divine will. Making decisions and knowing that your word is your bond, regardless of the decisions made. Here you choose to speak with honor and integrity. It is you in action. You might need to listen to some of these a few times over. Or raising that energy up, and we get to the third eye. Seek only truth, mind, and clarity. So even from the throat chakra, which is that speaking that intention. So the third eye is located between the brow. It's the color indigo, the note A, 96 vortexes within the one vortex, and the frequency is gone up to a whopping 720 hertz. This is the center of the archetypal or symbolic sight that activates wisdom, that requires us to learn detachment through divine understanding. Base chakra, we're very attached, and you can see that we're raising that energy up to get to this non-attached. Everything happens for a reason. This is here to serve me somehow. But in this place, there is that archetypal symbolic sight. This creates a release from the initial challenge. You are thinking about it so differently. There's an archetypal story, if you will, behind this. And when we uncover that symbolism and that story, we're detached from the whole event. It's like becoming the witness, the observer, gaining a greater perspective over it through divine understanding. That creates that release from the initial challenge. Here it's like breathing out the release. It's like a aha moment. Aha, I see. I see all. Makes me think of a piece of artwork that's in my first book that isn't on my website yet. I wrote it back in my late 20s. And my then husband did the artwork, and there's this amazing artwork in the book called I See All. It's that higher perspective, seeing through the divine eye as I said, that at that symbolic archetypal site. That breathing out, aha. Here it is, the unity of mind and heart. And you'll hear so many others talk about that heart-mind coherence. That's what's developed in this space. The message of truth. So your thoughts come before form. Yes, we're still on the third eye. Your thoughts come before form. Via our thoughts, the form starts in the energy dimension, hence becoming conscious creators. So the brain commands the behavior and response in the physical body. However, the mind commands the behavior of the energy body. Now that's really powerful, everyone. The brain commands the behavior and response in the physical body. However, the mind commands the behavior of the energy body. Becoming conscious detaches you from false perceptions and allows you to see the truth of symbolic meaning in the situation. So you're seeing truth beyond the shadow of beliefs. And you've heard me say this, the truth is beyond the shadow of the belief system. You might want to listen to that little bit a few times over and take some notes. What I don't want you to do is just listen and go, oh, yeah, I know, yeah. Take your time and do this journey. Do I really know? What is really being said here? What is the energetic journey behind the words, the meanings, the truths? That's when you're really going to dig deep, guys. So the energy now goes to the crown chakra, divine connectedness and grace, which is located at the top of the head. It's the color white, violet, gold. The note is B. Notice we've gone the whole scale up. 972 vortexes in the one vortex. Hence, it is known as the 1,000-petaled lotus. It's like that beautiful 1,000-petaled lotus opening up to this light. And the frequency, well, we're up to 768 hertz. This chakra is the warehouse for the divine energy of grace, a place of oneness and integration. With that journey that you've taken through your devotion to spiritual practices of prayer, meditation, breathing techniques, energy work, following the sequence of this particular understanding of going, okay, this is what's happened in my life. This is the experience. I'm now going to work through this chakra system. All those spiritual practices are a place of oneness and integration through your devotion to your spiritual practices. When the energy flows up to the crown, you are then flooded with the light of integration and transformation. This is the divine I am light. You are forever changed. This is your divine relationship of transformation. Those other layers you are transforming. This is now that transformation. If you like, that rebirthing moment. So the cycle is complete and you are forever changed in that transformation, forever changed. You are not the person that you were when you started from that experience. You've raised your vibration within the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritually energetic planes. This energy of the divine transformation flows through you and each of the energy centers. You've changed at a cellular level. This is also where miraculous and incredible, powerful healing can take place with that integration. You've masterfully navigated the cycle of the experience. This, my friends, is known as empowerment. People will often say that I'm powerful, and this is why. I'm not powerful over other people. I'm powerful within myself and within my life for continually doing this journey and applying these principles as part of my spiritual practice and listening to the language of the landscape and the cycles. You've changed at a cellular level. You've masterfully navigated the cycle of the experience known as empowerment, and now you will move through your life feeling more in flow. So part of the flow process is actually applying this, learning the language, learning where you are, applying this. But when you really hit that flow where you're completely flowing over and around obstacles, where synchronicities increase, you feel a meaning and a deeper purpose for your life's challenges and experiences. Connections come in. You're living in the present. That's where you feel like the magic and the miracles and all those opportunities are completely flowing and so soul and heart aligned. That's powerful. You're living in the present. Now, I really want to add in this bonus one, which is the soul star chakra, which is descending to a higher consciousness. It's located, about 1 foot, a little bit different for everybody because when I work with people, but let's just say on average, 1 foot above the crown. The color's bluish white. And isn't it interesting that when I say when we're cleansing with the Christ consciousness light, it's a bluish white light. It is the C, the high C. The base is the low C. This is the high C. And the frequency is 1074 hertz. That is vibrating at an incredible rate. This is considered to be a gateway to our higher self that's to be integrated through our journey, integrated and brought into the inner universal self within the physical. Now, a lot of people will talk about the ascension and up to the higher self. I've known it as a shaman for most of my journey, that we're actually accessing that and integrating it into ourselves. Understanding at that deeper level that the universe exists within me. Not just a concept, a knowing. So in a way, the ascension is the integration of more of that higher self, more of that divine self into our being. So don't see it as greater than. They are the separated aspects of living from beliefs that keep us separate from the oneness. So I'm going to say this again, considered to be a gateway to our higher self that is to be integrated through our journey, integrated and brought into the inner universal self within the physical. This is manifesting our most intense spiritual essence into physical life. I am the universe. The universe exists within me, and I exist within the universe. It is a full-bodied knowing. Everything and everyone is the same universal consciousness, not just from concept. We release labels in the soul star chakra integration of that higher self energy. The labels disappear. It's not good, it's not bad. It's not higher than or lower than. It's not a labeling of the person, we might name the wounded behaviours. We know that as we harm others, we're harming self. This is ownership of oneness, understanding of oneness, living, breathing, thinking, speaking in oneness. And remember, we're integrating aspects of more and more. We can't just take the whole hit in. We have to expand our capacity to integrate more and more and more of this. Everyone and everything is the same universal consciousness. It is all within. So what I've shared here is about the evolving cycle. It's a snapshot of the chakras and how to work with them to move from being a victim to empowered. Passenger seat to driver's seat. Understanding that you are energy first is so freeing. And the application of this information supports you to form a conscious and deeper connection with the wisdom, power, and oneness that exists within you. So you can work with the sounds, the colours to influence these energy centres and maintain a sense of energetic harmony. It's in the life challenges and cycles that moves this energy upwards. And remember, the energy rises and then it integrates back down. Then life experience calls you to up level again. As you've done this cycle, which is really that taking you into that next version of self, you will have that platform, as I've spoken about before, to really live with that, to live with that connectedness, to live and dance and experience in that integrated form of all those opportunities, all those synchronicities, all that beauty. But my friends, the next cycle will come. Remember, it's an opportunity, and you start with, I don't know or understand why this is happening to me, but I do make the choice to move this energy by going, I choose not to be a victim in it. Enjoy the journey. Please take down notes. Really listen to what I've shared here, because aside from the colour, how many vortexes, the sound, simplify it to the message and the process and the intention and the choices that you make. And then don't drown out the insights with too many distractions. Bring in and stay anchored to your spiritual practices for the mind, for the emotions, for the energetic. And every time you do this cycle, it will become simpler and easier and more integrated. And remember, you can go to my website and download the free PDF on defusing your fears. Blessings to you all. Join me on my next episode. And if you love this podcast, please subscribe by clicking on the plus button if you're on Apple, or like and follow on Spotify, rate and review, and please share Inner Voice of Knowing with your friends.